All right, let's talk about a challenge that pretty much everyone faces, whether you're a student or a pro in your field. How do you take a giant pile of research and data and turn it into a report that's actually clear, persuasive, and, powerful? Let's dive in.
So you've done it. You've put in the weeks, maybe even months of hard work. The research is finished, the numbers are crunched, everything is there. And then you open a new document and just stare at that blinking cursor on a blank page. That feeling of, okay, what now, can be totally overwhelming. It honestly feels like the toughest part of the whole journey.
But hang on. What if we just reframe this whole thing? Instead of thinking about it as writing a report, think of yourself as a detective. You've already done all the cool investigative work. You've gathered the clues, you've found the evidence. This report, it's not a chore. It's your detective's debrief. It's your moment to present the case, connect all the dots, and really convince everyone that you've solved it.
So, to build an airtight case, we're going to follow a really clear four-step plan. First, we'll get into crafting your discussion. Then, we'll talk about making your findings really count. After that, we'll cover how to conclude with real impact. And finally, we'll add that all-important final polish. Okay, first up, the discussion section. And I want to be super clear here. This isn't just another part of the report. This is the absolute heart of your case. It's where all your hard work truly comes to life. Now, the biggest mistake you can make is treating the discussion like a data dump. It's not just a place to list your results. No. This is where you step up and become the expert analyst. You've got to explain what your findings actually mean, show how they connect to what other people in your field have already discovered, and really build your argument for why your work is a valuable new piece of the puzzle. Okay, check this out. This slide is basically your secret weapon, your roadmap. See, building a really powerful discussion isn't some kind of magic, it's a structured process. We're going to use this 5-step framework right here as our guide to laying out a case that's not just logical, but also super compelling.
So let's break down those first 3 steps. Number 1, you summarize. This is easy. Just briefly restate your most important findings. Number 2, you interpret. This is where you dig in. Did your results turn out how you expected? Any surprises? You explain the why behind the what. And third, you discuss the implications. This is the huge so what of your research. What does all this mean for the real world?
Now, these next 2 steps are what give your report some serious street cred. Number 4, you have to acknowledge the limitations. Look, no study's perfect, and being honest about what your research can't do is so important. It doesn't make your case weaker, it actually makes it stronger, because it shows you're a critical thinker. It builds trust. And then you state your recommendations. This is your chance to say, here's what we should do next, or to point the way for other researchers.
So at the end of the day, when you've done all that, a really great discussion shows off these 3 things. It proves you've thought critically about the problem, that you've found creative ways to look at it, and that you have a really deep, solid understanding of the whole topic. Okay, so we've built our argument in the discussion section. Now, we've got to make sure the evidence we're using is absolutely rock solid. This part is all about proving that your findings are not just interesting, but that they're trustworthy and important. And to make your findings really truly count, your evidence needs to stand on 2 main pillars. And that means you have to answer 2 fundamental questions. First, are my findings reliable? And second, are they significant?
Let's tackle reliability first. In the simplest terms, reliability is just about consistency. Think about it this way. If another detective came along and followed your exact same steps, would they find the exact same thing? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, your findings are reliable. I absolutely love the analogy here on the slide. Think about a reliable thermometer. You trust it because it gives you the correct temperature reading every single time. That's the gold standard we're shooting for with our research. We want our methods to be so solid that they produce the same, consistent results time and time again.
Okay, next up is significance. Your results are reliable. That's awesome. But the next big question is, so what? Who cares? Significance is all about the impact your work has. Why does it matter? Does it add something new and valuable to the conversation? Does it solve a real-world problem? You have to frame the why for your audience. And this is a perfect real-world example. Discovering that a lot of milk can lead to anemia in little kids isn't just some interesting academic tidbit. It's a finding that has a huge, direct, positive impact on the health of children all over the world. Now that is significance in action.
So we've presented our case, and we've proven our evidence is solid. Now it's time for the big finale, to deliver the final verdict and lay out a crystal clear action plan in our conclusion.
Your conclusion should never be a surprise. It should feel, well, inevitable. It's the only logical endpoint based on everything you've already presented. This is not the place to introduce new ideas. It's where you deliver a short, powerful summary that hammers home the most important takeaways from your entire investigation.
Now, when it comes to your recommendations, which usually follow right after the conclusion, this slide is basically your cheat sheet. The rules are simple. Be brief, be clear, and be precise. Don't be vague or general, and avoid recommendations that are just wishful thinking. They have to be practical and grounded in the evidence you found.
We are so close. We're in the home stretch. The heart of the report is written, but a detective's case file isn't complete until all the paperwork is properly filed. This final polish is what gives your work that professional seal of approval.
First up, the bibliography. I know, it's not the most exciting part, but it is absolutely non-negotiable. This simple checklist will keep you out of trouble. Just make sure you include every single source you used, use the standard format you're supposed to, and double-check that every citation in your report has a matching entry in the list.
And here's what a properly formatted one looks like. This is a great reminder that all those little details really do matter. You see things like the indented second line, the double spacing. Getting those little things right shows that you're a professional who pays attention.
And finally, we have the appendix. The easiest way to think about this is like the detective's evidence locker. It's the perfect place to put all the extra material that's important but would be way too detailed or technical for the main report. Things like your raw data tables or the full questionnaire you used.
So, as we wrap this up, just remember that a report is never just a collection of facts and figures. It's a narrative. It's the story of your investigation, your evidence, and your final conclusions. When you think of it like that, like you're the detective presenting your case, you're not just sharing data, you're telling a story that matters. So, the only question left is, what story will yours tell?